It's been an all too typical display of what the left has become in recent years, that you often hear people say things like, or I used to hear this when I was on Facebook before I got booted by Zook and then the boys. I would often hear from some of the liberal or left-wing friends that I had, things like, if you believe X, unfriend me now. I remember some guy who went to my high school wrote, and he seemed like a perfectly reasonable guy, nice guy. When I knew him back in high school, I never knew him that well. But I remember in 2016, he wrote, if you're voting for Trump, unfriend me now. And this is sort of the typical thing that you see. And it's being encouraged more and more on the left. You know, we see this push now from some sources, some media, giving these kind of barking orders, these instructions, saying things like, if you have friends or family members who aren't speaking out properly, who, you know, white silence is racism and it equals murder or whatever. So if you have friends or family who aren't being loud enough, or who aren't saying things and who aren't saying the right things, then withhold affection from them, shun them, keep away from them, basically emotionally blackmail them until they come around and do what you want them to do the righteous thing of saying Black Lives Matter is great, and I'm so sorry for being white. So you see this kind of trend on the left often, and I'm just going to respond in kind myself, in that I have seen so many displays lately of white people just embarrassing themselves, abasing themselves, humiliating themselves, forfeiting all semblance of pride, and getting down on their knees. I've seen cops do this. There was one thing where a cop at a rally actually laid down supine, didn't just kneel, but laid down, sort of saying, yes, I'm a failure, I'm a bad person, trample all over me. And it was unbelievable to see. But more often what you see are, at certain rallies or functions, you have whites being coerced into getting on their knees. It's so often the getting on it's either the take one knee or go down on both knees, as if you were praying, and pray that you may be forgiven for the unpardonable sin of your DNA and your heritage, because you are guilty of white privilege and you are guilty of centuries and centuries of oppression and what have you. Never mind, the fact that slavery wouldn't have been abolished if not for white people. But of course, that doesn't. You never hear them talk that way. You never hear them talk about the good things that white people have done through the years, through the centuries. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay down my own ultimatum in this video, and that is, I'm going to say, if you are such a person who has abased himself in this way, who has humiliated himself in this way, who has opted to forfeit his pride and his plain common sense, for the sake of placating the mob, for the sake of wanting to seem like a good person. And this is a type of virtue signaling, but for me this goes beyond virtue signaling. I mean, virtue signaling is annoying as hell, don't get me wrong. This goes beyond mere virtue signaling. This seems like it's it's basically saying, you know, I throw myself at your mercy. Do what you want with me. Do what you want with other people of my kind. I totally, I am a worm and no man. And, you know, this groveling over who you are, over your skin color, over your DNA, over your heritage, this groveling and self-abasing and humiliating oneself. You know, it would be one thing if you were guilty of doing something wrong other than being the wrong color. But the people who do this, here's the ultimatum I'm setting, okay? It's possible that people out there who are watching this have done these things. It's possible that people out there who are friends, who are family, who know me in some way, who are on friendly terms with me in some way, that they have in one way or another either done this white self-abasing thing under coercion, under pressure. They've bought into the white guilt. They've bought into the white privilege notion or narrative. And I'm just going to say, you know, if you are one such person, then unfriend me. You know, I don't want to be around you. I don't want to be your friend. You disgust me. You completely appall me. And, you know, that's about it. You know, this is the ultimatum that I'm setting. Like I said, I don't usually match the left in their shunning rhetoric, but this thing, these displays of white self-abasement are so I can't tell you how disgusting I find them. I can't tell you how revolting they are to me. And, you know, I would feel that they were that this kind of self-denigration. I would feel that it was a disgusting, appalling abomination, regardless of who was doing it. If I saw people of another race all getting down on their knees and apologizing for being the race that they were, I would think, what a bunch of fools, what a bunch of idiots. What a bunch of weak-minded simpletons. How have they managed to be coerced into having this kind of attitude about themselves, and wanting to show it, wanting to put it on display, you know, like you're at a Maoist struggle session and you know, some public or you know, a Stalinist show trial where you have to come out and say, I am a counter-revolutionary, and I deserve to die. Again, if I saw any group, any race doing this, it would bother me. But it viscerally appalls me because it's my own people, my own race. And you know, if you're ashamed for being who you are, then fuck off, okay? Just get out of here. You know, be gone. Vamoose, okay? And if you happen to be my friend, if you happen to think that we're friends, and you have done this, or you have, you agree with this somehow, or you think that these displays are a good thing, or you don't think that they're a terrible thing, the way I do, again, talk to the hand, man. Talk to the hand forever and ever and ever, because you ain't ever seeing my face again. You're going to talk to my hand for the rest of your life if you come near me. I don't want to have anything to do with you. Again, this is so disgusting. And it makes me, you know, you know, ironically, it kind of makes me ashamed to be white, just because so many whites have become so feckless, so spineless, so I don't know, so easily bullied, so easily cowed. You know, stand up for yourselves, God damn it. Stand up for who you are. Don't let them do this to you. But if you do, then get out of my life. You're gone. That's all.